Good morning, traders. The second part of the weekly webinar we do. This is going to be the one on Bitcoin and stocks. For all my YouTube viewers, if you like these videos, please help share them, because there's a lot of people who have never seen them and might find them interested and might even enjoy something on them and might, find them helpful as well. Let's share it. Let's make it more, more available for more people. So let's start. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still going sideways. I want you to remember the bigger picture as well, not just the small picture. So let's go to the daily. The daily bigger picture is where the bottom here. But remember, you always have to find out where this is making that low. Right? Now, this is very sharp. It does have a move in there. This one has two corrections in it. And this is not the correction by itself. This is not the correction by itself. And these three together could be the correction. But if this turns out to make a much bigger flat in here, for whatever reason, then this becomes the B part of it. We will go back up there and we'll come back here, and only then we will go out of it. So although I'm telling you that the chances are, if this drops here and break the low, we are going to go back up. That's a fact. But it might not be the one that breaks out. You might be in a more long, drawn-out corrective structure, but you still will be going back up. That's the point. You still will be going back up, because even if you're making a flat in here, you have to go back up to make that flat, then come back here and then go. I think one of the questions I got on YouTube was that somebody said, I can see the patterns, but I don't know the direction of the trend. Now, I get what that person is saying. You can see the patterns. You can't identify patterns. There's a huge difference. You see a pattern when I draw it. You might even see a pattern after the fact. But that doesn't mean you know patterns. To know patterns, you have to be able to identify them even before they're completed. And that is where the advantage of trading comes. That's how you know patterns. Actually, there was a video one of our traders posted out on that. It's a scientific studies where they were showing that you see things and you know things are two different things, or you can identify things or you know things are two different things, right? If somebody draws something, you see it, you know what it is. Doesn't mean you can do it, right? It's the same thing, right? Or even if you see it the second time, you might say, oh yeah, I see that flat pattern. But can you actually identify it while it's forming? That's the difference. And that's what we teach you to do in this group. We teach you to identify patterns, and then we teach you how to trade them, how to take advantage of them, right? So there's much more than just the analysis, right? It is money management. It is risk management. It is trade management. And all of that you get with a group that is working 5-6 times a day live. Absolutely live. My traders are testament to that, right? This is not me putting out some hype out there to you. So let's go. What we're looking for here is the chance that we're consolidating in this range. And you can trade. That's a pretty huge range to trade in. Depends on whether you want to trade within that range. If you're a spot trader, short-term trader, you can trade within that range. This is from 45.9 to about this range of about 35. That's a good range to trade it if you're a short-term trader, right? Very quick in and out. But the bigger trade, if you're an investor type trader, you would want it to come break this low and then look for your buy setups for the upside. The advantage about this, being a wave trader, is that if you buy when it breaks a low and it stays in consolidation, and we see that, we will let you exit that trade and look for the next low again. Right? It doesn't mean that now it's going to go, but if you use wave analysis as a method of how you're going to trade for your entry, you can get out of a trade that doesn't go your way. As long as you see that structurally it's changing, the wave patterns are changing, you're seeing a different pattern. Okay, this is not going to be the impulse to the upside. Here's a good example of that. We bought this, right? We call a buy in that because we assume that this thing could take off. We assume this one could be the one that goes up and this would be a running flat. Well, it didn't go. Guess what? We're out of that trade a long time ago. Right? We figure out that this is not the one that is going to go. And then even if you're an investor and you got out, you took a little profit, you got out, and you said, let me wait for the next buy setup. Right? Now, as an investor, you don't have a buy setup. As a short-term trader, you can buy. So right now, I think there's a good chance this is going to come back down. I'm not sure whether we would look at this as a 1, 2, 3. There is a big flat here. You could make that argument. That's a 1, 2, 3, and this one is coming here. Even if it comes here, there's a good chance it will go back up because this is pretty sharp. So we will go back up there, complete the pattern in here, come back down here, go back up there, complete the entire pattern, and then drop. So my assumption based on what we have if I have to forecast this, it's saying there's a number of up and down moves here before that pattern is completed itself, and then it's going to drop. Now, can there be a change in that pattern some different way? Very possible. It might be even more complex than I show it. It might be simpler than I show it. But as of now, I will go with that because that's the simplest pattern that I can see. Unless there's a change in structure where I have to relook at it and say, okay, wait a second. I think I might have got this wrong. I'm looking at this. For example, let's say that takes off. Would I look at this as a possible, if this takes off to the upside here and breaks this top, would I come back and say, well, this could be a possible flat in there? Sorry, not that one, this one. Would I look at this as a possible flat in here if this takes off and break the top? Yeah, we could probably look at that. I'm not looking at that because this is pretty sharp. So even if this comes break the top, I'll probably look for a running flat. But was it possible that could be a 1, 2, 3? Sorry, here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 here. It's possible. I'm just not looking at the pattern that way now because there are many reasons why I don't think that is the pattern. Right? Right now, I think we're making a flat in here and we're going to come back to the low here. So now that you know the analysis, the question is, well, how do you sell or how do you buy? Right? We're looking for a sell. What would be the sell? So, well, not until I get a confirmation that this is going to give me another impulse down, would I be in the trade? See? So there's more to it than the analysis. That's the analysis. Now give me the confirmation. I get into the trade. I know where I think I'm going to target. And when it gets to the level where I'm targeting, I'm going to move my stops, try to exit that trade. If I see that there's a turning point, I'll exit the trade. We'll be looking for a buy, right? Back to the top. And then we might look for another sell here, and then for another buy, and then for another sell. And it changes. What if the structure is changing between all of that? Well, we either wouldn't be in a trade or we'll be coming out of a trade for a break even. It's that simple. It's much more complex than what I'm showing. What I'm showing is clearly simple analysis. You might not be able to trade this, right? Because you don't know all the patterns. You don't know how they change. But if you want to know all of them and you want to see how to trade them and how to take advantage of all of that, you know what to do. Send me a Skype message. My Skype is inside of at the bottom of the video. You'll find it in the description. Sorry, that's what I wanted to say. Let's go. Ethereum. We're probably the same thing. We're in a big consolidation. You can literally see that one move up, one move down, one move up, one move down, one move up. We're not breaking tops and bottoms. It clearly means we haven't completed a single pattern as yet. We're just making pieces of a future pattern that is going to be really big. If I'm going to look for a pattern, I'll start with this as a 1, 2, 3, which is the only 1, 2, 3 structure I have. Can this come down back? I think it's going to come back here, especially if we get a flag here. I'll be going for that sell. It likely will go back up. It likely will come back down. It likely will go back up. And if all of this happened, then we're going to break the lows before we go back up. That is what I think the bigger picture will show, right? Now, yep, very likely if they stay within this range for so long, we will likely do all of this. Come here, go there, come back here, go back there, break this low, and then probably go back up. With this being the biggest consolidation, we might stay here for a much longer time than I think, you know. But can it actually stay above this range here? Right? And totally take off? It could, but that's very rare. That is a very, very rare possibility. Right? When that time comes, we will show you there will be a buy setup to complete the flat. And if that buy setup just keeps going, you can stay with it. Right now, short-term sell setup. That's what we're looking for. I lost my, good, got it. Go back to the 1 hour and we're looking for short-term sell setup. I need a flat here. We don't have a flat, but if it makes a flat, I think if this goes back up there, make a small flat here and look for a sell setup, you can go for this trade to retest these lows. Probably even breaking this low. Right, making a 1, 2, 3, and then go back up. XRP. Yep, XRP is in a big sideways mode. You can see that you bought that. This is closing. It's not going. It probably will even go up a little more. 1 second, guys. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I have to close the door. Yep. Let's go. Yep. We're looking for this. And this looks like it could go up a little more here. I think we could get to this top. But this is a big sideways move, which means eventually it will come back down, right? Even if it goes to the top, if you get that buy there short term, it will come back down. It's a very short term trade. Can it actually just break this top and drop? Yeah, that's possible. Where it could literally come, just break this top here and drop like that. And this is a correction for downside, right? Pretty much it can drop like this. You can see a drop breaking this low. This is a big sideways move if that happens. So they're all in one big sideways consolidation going on right now. And you will see the same here, right? Well, this one is slightly different in that it's not one big consolidation, it's a series of consolidation, drop, consolidation, drop. I think this might be in a bigger consolidation here. Probably come back to this level, go back up. And this is useless to trade. It doesn't have any big direction with one big drop or so. I probably would make an assumption that you could go with an expanding flat here. So there is no bigger direction that is happening right now. Short term, this even looks like a buy. And the shorter term, if you look at this, there's a good chance a shorter term trade to the upside just to break that up. If you're an investor in these things, you might just want to stay away from them, wait for lower lows and then buy. If you're a short-term trader, there are trades to get. This one might be a short-term sell here. If it come back at least one drop, can it come back all the way to the bottom? Possibly. You can look at this as a flat. Comes back to the bottom, then go back up. So we might get a bigger flat here. So short, if this pushes up to the top there, then it's going to drop back here. You're going to look at this as a 1, 2, 3, still go back up, still come back down. Right? So there's no big move to the upside right now, even if they break that up, probably a running flat. Is it the buy setup? Let's see. Not clearly a buy setup as yet. You can put an entry above the top if they actually spike. It could, could happen if you're going to make a much bigger, but this piece just barely break the low. So I think we could be making a bigger flat here. This one is coming back down. It didn't break this low. It actually spiked up. Then it's breaking the low. That's okay. It's still way below this. Remember, it's way below that one. Can we look at this as a possible bigger flat forming here? I think we can eventually, but not from this point, not from that point, right? This would still be the middle of it, right? So this would probably come back here and go back up. Now we would look at this as the flat. So this needs to come back. I don't think we're looking at some kind of a contracting flat. So this will probably come here, go back up. We'll get a flat. We'll make a new low. And then if you do that, you're in a big sideways move here as well, which eventually we will see, right? So instead of this making a correction and go, which we thought originally it will do, right? We thought this would make a correction here and then take off. It turns out that they're making a big flat here. And if you make a big flat here, then you make that a bigger B wave, come back to the low, which means you're going to be retesting this low almost, go back to the top, make a bigger flat, drop again, and then go. See? So you might be stuck here, but can you trade in that range? Absolutely. If you get a sell setup, go for it. These are the long-term one we're looking at. And as you can see, we expected this to break. They went up and now they're coming down. It's kind of, you can make an argument for that part coming down here. It's coming back to the low, which means we might get another flat here. Not the takeoff as yet, but another flat. This is no longer valid. That was valid before all of this happened. Take that out. So we've tracked this piece. It's not a sell. I would not sell it. It's really slow. And there is no buy setup to it. Yeah, it's really, really slow. So it's probably going down some more. We'll see how far that goes. We'll see what pattern we eventually get in here. One more sharp move up, finish this flat, come back down, and then this will be the buy setup. Once the low is broken, you start looking for the long-term buys, which means if you're in a long-term buy here, you close that trade a long while back. Correct? This will be the easiest one to trade if it breaks, right? And give you a sudden drop to the downside. That'd be an easy one to trade. Dash. Okay, Dash made a very sharp move up, already retesting this top. Let's see here. It broke this low, but it didn't go far. We broke this pattern here, but it just came to this level. Breakout, go back up. This is the bigger correction. Go here, we're back at that top. So pretty much, I think we might be looking at all of this as a bigger flat. If this is sharp, this is sharp, this is the most corrective one. Probably expect them to come back here, go back there, drop, then go. I don't see this as the takeoff. This could be the low. If that is the low for the takeoff, you have to wait for it to make a flag above this top. Here's what I do. I let them make a correction above that top. Right? Let them go above the top, make a correction here. And now you can decide that that might be long-term. Right? because at this point, it could still come back here for a flat, which means once you get a correction above this top, that confirms longer term way back to this top. And then we will see whether this is a bigger flat. Possible, very possible. So these moves are not going to be going up right now for bigger move. You'll be stuck sideways for a long time. Go back to the 1 hour, let's see. We broke the low here already. So if they want to turn, they can turn. Let's see if it's turning. Go back to the 1 hour. Well, it's not turning as yet. This was the low. So if we assume that that is the first impulse up, let's go with this is the first impulse up. You got an impulse down, you get a 1, 2, 3. That's a flat. This is coming back to this level, breaking this low, giving you a flat there, going back up to that level. And this, at this point, if we get a buy, you take it to see whether that takes off fully, or if it's just break that up and come back, because this could be a flat as well. So there's a move, there's a sell set up here, short term. If you get a flag, you can sell it short term to break this low, after which, once this low is broken, after it will go back up. You definitely will take a buy here if you get it, because this is the flat. And that means this could take off. We haven't broken the low. But it could also be a 1, 2, 3 to this level, make a new low and then take off. But this buy is definitely, like I said, we take the buy. If we see that that buy is not the one that is going to go, you exit the trade, you wait for the new low and you buy back. You might even sell it. But if that is the one, then it takes off. Even if you're an investor, wouldn't you want to have the lowest price? Why should you go for, the one that is not the lowest? So it's coming down short term to this level, and then we'll get a buy. This is definitely going to go up because we broke that top, but it has to come down first. Pretty simple, right? This might be an indication that more up move is there and might be bigger up move. So there is a sell setup to come to this level, complete that flat pattern. It doesn't have to break the low, by the way, because it could be a running flat, come here and then take off. So if you want to sell, that might be worth it, but I say just leave it, let it come to this level, look for a buy setup. Buy setup, by the way, not buy setup. And then you go for the upside. This is 1, 2, 3. It could come back down, but it could literally take off, because in the big picture, there's no need for it to come lower. See, there's no need for that to come lower. It can totally go from this point here, come back here a little, and then totally go back all the way to the top. And there's no reason for that to come lower. So let's see, what is it going to be? Would it come lower or would it take off? Go to the 1 or wait for it to come. You can even put an entry order there. I would not advise you what to trade or how to trade. I'm telling you what we would do. We would literally have an entry order. If I'm trading this pair, I'll probably have an entry order sitting somewhere here for the buy. Because if they come really fast and go back really fast, you wouldn't be in the trade unless you have an entry order that will take you in. And this one again is going sideways. It did go up a little more, but it's still sideways. It might still drop and break the low. Let's take this off and see if there's any more upside in that. I don't think so. I think we're trying to get to the low. So I'm looking at this as a running flat for now. So far, that has not changed. Nothing in it has changed. And this still looks very much downside. So let's see if it comes and break this low. This would be a good buy to the upside. Now, what if it starts to go up from here? We'll probably change our view on how we see the pattern, because originally we had that, but I don't think that is it, right? As a 1, 2, 3 there, and this is the upside. This would be a really big flat in here, and we don't have any big flat in this one. So I think they are likely going to break the low on them. But what is the setup on the 1 hour? Let's see the 1 hour setups. Now, this is pretty useless, because you don't have a flat here as yet. If it does make a flat and break, well, we go for the sell. If it's going to climb up like this, you don't have a buy setup. This is not a good buy setup. Better to stay out of it. But if it stays here and consolidate, the sell is a good idea. Okay, let's see what's the big picture in this one. Take this out. We broke that already. Take this out. We already finished that move too. So it's a 1, a 2, and possibly, I think, a 3 to the downside. It should come back down. I don't see any reason for that to take off. Yeah, probably come back down. Let's see in the 1 hour if we have. Well, you can look at this as a flat. You can either look at this as a 1, 2, 3, or probably even this is a running flat in there, which means this goes up one more. What's the buy setup? Let's see if we have a setup for a buy. Not really. Wait for a flag above this top if you want to buy it. Wait for it to make a flag here and then go for the buy. Could be short term. Or you could be looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, which has to come down. There is no sell setup. There's most likely a buy setup rather than a sell setup. I've been inclined to go with this as the flat. This is a 1, 2, 3, and this probably make a consolidation here like this, and then go up more. Not very much more, but at least break this top. And let's see this one. It went back to that top. This was the buy to break this top. We broke the top. See, we broke the top there. So you expect this to come down. You're looking for this move down now, right? So we've got a 1, 2, 3. We're expecting this move down. That will complete this flat. And then probably go back up like this. Right, so if you get a sell set up here, that's a good trade to break the low. BNB. This broke out, but it's not going. So maybe we're aiming for a bigger flat here as well. Come back down here and then go. Do this. Sorry, guys. Yep, that is possible. This could be the low because you've got a big correction here. You can make a big correction here as well. Come back to this low and then go. So if you get that sell setup, great. If you don't get it, wait to see whether they consolidate here. Right, I would let it drop, prove the downside, and then look for a buy here to the upside, or wait for this to consolidate here, then buy. You don't have a buy setup. It's more of a sell setup right now. Let it come break these lows, and then you look for the buy setup. Okay, so we're still in this one going up some more. That hasn't changed anything in terms of correction. We're still in a big correction there. You can literally see it, right? The more they consolidate here, the more that is a big correction. Pretty much like this one. 1, 2, 3. I don't even think this is completed because it might come back here, and this could be 1, 2, 3, which means we have to go back, come down, come. This could stay here for a long time and then drop. Let's go back to the 1 hour and see if we have a sell setup. Well, you had a sell setup that I already broke out. Nope, you could still get a sell setup. This needs to come back here, and if it comes here and give you a running flat, that could be a sell setup to the downside. We could get a short-term sell setup. I don't see this as taking off totally. This sharp wave this is not a correction, so it doesn't fit into that. You have to come back to this low, maybe go back up, then drop. So most likely sell setup I'll be looking at. Although we're breaking out of that structure, we don't have any buy setup as yet. And let's see this. Same here. You might have completed this flat already. So we're heading for the downside. Look for a sell setup here for downside to retest this low. And then go back up. We're still in the big flat here. We're still making a very big flat here. So we'll take this off. If this becomes a big flat, then all you'll have is this coming back to this level, going back up there, right? Completing 1, 2, 3, completing 1, 2, 3, and then drop one more before they go. I think we had a big flat like that at the top here because it's a little less complicated than that one, but you can see it. This is pretty sharp, but it added some up and down in there. You can go with that one. And you had a big correction here. So this is still dropping slowly. It's getting tighter, but not as an ending diagram. Because if you make a flat here, then we have a series of flats that's going down. So one flat here, drop, break the low, look for the buy setup. This is actually a very nice one for, I think when we were looking at it, this place, we waited for this to break the low, you buy here. So if you buy somewhere under this low here, you manage to get out of that trade. You wait for this to complete itself, go back up, come here, you buy here. If they repeat the same thing, you manage to get out of that trade, you wait for the new low. Eventually, one of them takes off. Who knows that it's not this one that will take off? So you just wait for it to break the low again after the completion of pattern and you go for the trade. Okay, guys, let's go very fast. I'm going to go through some of the stocks that we're looking at. We're looking at probably stay out of this. It's still in a big sideways. It's not really giving you any good trades. Stay out of it. And oil. Oil came down really sharp. They actually reversed the entire piece here, but on the 1 hour, we're still going sideways. Right? When this is not a small flat that is breaking out. And I don't think this is any kind. This is one piece and this is going up. If you're going to look for a buy setup in this, let's say it's coming back to retest that top for a bigger flat. I'll probably wait for a flag here. There was probably a buy here if you wanted, but wait for another flag, buy. Probably a bigger flag, something like this or something like this. Wait for a flag like that and then look for a buy for the upside. I would keep that buy as a short-term buy, right? To see where it goes. What if this comes back down here? It's not a sell as yet, but if it comes back down to this level, especially if it comes really slow, then we'll look for a flat in here. And then that would become a sell. So by the end of the week, two things would happen. This comes back down as a correction, go back up as an impulse, and then it's a drop. Or it continues to go up as the B part of this structure, which means you get flags and you go up, you get flags and you go up, you get flags and you go up. It will drop here and then go higher. So until this is finished, this piece is finished, we can't tell you which direction it's going to go. Because on the bigger picture, both directions are possible. On the bigger picture, it could make a very big flat here and continue to go up, or it could make a flag here and go down. So if we stay within this range here, that's downside. If this goes back up slowly to the top here, it's going to come back here, but then it's going to go up. This would be the flat here. So until you get all of that, it's impossible to tell. Can you trade in this range if it goes up? Yes. Can you trade if it comes down here? No. You wait for it to go back up and then you look for the sell. So right now, there is no trade setup, not even in the 1 hour. And the same would be for the US oil. Absolutely same thing. If it stayed in this range, we'll be selling. It didn't break out, it's going up. This is a sharp move. This is not giving us any clues yet. This one will not necessarily go break the top. Because this is only one piece. You always get it with 3 pieces, right? Well, minimum 3 pieces. Sometimes you get more than that. Here is a good example. You get 1 down, you get 2 across here, you get 3. You get 1, you get 2, you get 3, running flat with a big one in here, right? When you see this, you know you're getting 1 more there. So if it's in the middle here, it starts to do that, which it starts to consolidate here. You're definitely going up. This could be a buy. Let's go. Natural gas. I think I skipped natural gas. Natural gas is short term. I still think you wait for the sell. Wait for this to break because we're in this big sideways move. And this is not the up move, right? In a big sideways move, like this is not the up move. This is actually the correction forming. So even if this goes here, we're probably going to come back here, go like this, and then eventually come. So this is like a correction to come back here. Maybe a 1, 2, 3, and then even go back up there. We could be in this range for a long time. 1 hour buy setup, not that clear. I wouldn't take it. All I need to do is break that up. If you get a sell setup, which we don't have now, would be a better trade. The risk to reward would be better. Let's go PayPal. PayPal is breaking out of the top here. So expect, so if you get any flag here, keep buying. It could be a long drawn out running flat feature coming up. Could this be the low and we are taking off? Well, we have this one. I'm not sure where to put it. Should we put it with this one? Not quite clear about that. Right, so we'll have to wait. But if they make a flag here, a correction, actually, you can start buying. It's very low, so it should go back up. The only point is the turning point here is not very clear, right? That's the only thing about it. Because we came pretty deep, they should go back up at this point, even if it goes back up as a correction, right? Which means if it goes back up slow. At some point, it will make a correction. You buy, it could make another correction, buy, make another correction, buy, it could go back slow like this, and then we drop again and then go. It's rarely going to go back up like that. You're not going to get a sharp move up, but it's tradable. So if you get another flag, you can buy. Tesla, this was a buy, and I think you could still get a buy if you get another flag, which means if they make another flag above this top, buy for it to come back there. If it is going to drop from here to make a new low, you'll have to wait for it to drop, make a flag, and then go for that sell. There's a good chance they go back to the top there. We're kind of in this corrective structure. The buy is a good idea if you get it. Wait for the flag. If you bought already, which is what we did, you can just move your stops and stay with it. The same thing with Amazon. We're in a big sideways move. Sorry, guys. We're in a big, huge sideways move here. I think it started from here. So we might be even in some kind of an expansion going on here. Right. So right now, this looks more like a flat, but there was a buy setup here, which we bought at this level. So if you're in the trade, you move your stops very, very tight now because it can come back down, right? This could be a flat and we come back down to this level. Can this be the low and this is taking off if this is a contracting flat? Well, wait for a flag and then continue to buy. You always get flags. There's always flags to buy. You don't have to worry about that. US 30. Okay, we're going up much higher than expected. I expect they'll probably come back to about this level, right? With a 1, a 2, and a 3 to that level, but it's going up. As long as you get flags you can buy, you just have to take the profit off. So right now, 2 things we can look for, either a reversal back to the low, which is this comes back to this level for a flat, or you actually make another consolidation and continue to go. So which is it? Let's go wait and see. Right now, we have 1 piece done, so that is good. That's good news. If it consolidates here, we sell. If this goes back to the top, wait for it to come back here. See it go back to the top, wait for it to come back, and then you get a buy setup. It goes back to the top, wait for it to come down here, then you get a buy setup. Goes to the top, wait for it to come back down, and then you get a buy setup. If it stays here, it's a sell. Let me show that again. If it stays here today, this is a perfect sell setup. You shouldn't miss it. Let's go. S&P 500, pretty much the same thing. Same type of patterns. We broke the top. Any flag here is a sell. Any flat is a buy. NASDAQ, same thing. No, NASDAQ is slightly different. We were buying NASDAQ because we broke that low and we were going up. So NASDAQ is a buy. You have a flat here already. Now, could it be that NASDAQ is making a flat here and that will be part of something else, right? Possible. So at the same time, I'll leave this pattern here now. And if you get a flat, it's a buy. If you get a flag, it's a buy. For you to get a sell setup, it needs to drop, make a flag here, and then sell. So NASDAQ is mostly a buy. DAX, well, it didn't break the top, so it's probably giving you a big running flat. You can see that there. Probably come back down 1 more here, and then go up. So let it come back 1 more, and then look for your buy setup. And Nifty. Buy some more. You still have some more buys. So we expect Nifty to go up a little more, probably like this. And then we're expecting the downside. We're expecting 1, 2, 3, complete the flat pattern here, and then work its way down like this. So there might be a 1 more buy setup there. There's a flag. You can take the trade. Can it actually drop from this point and think that this pattern here is completed? Possible. They don't have to be equal, but this might give you an idea of how big it could get. Again, they don't have to be equal, but this is just a gauge. Yeah, it could go 1 more. It could also turn from this point. So you wait to see whether you get a flag here for the buy, or if it drops, make a flag, you sell. This would be a perfect sell. Don't miss it. Because if this pattern is completed, then the sell is going to be a big impulse to the downside. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that helps you. I think we need to change. I think we've got the cryptocurrencies good. We just need to change this lineup. I'm waiting for your suggestions. Tell me what else you would like to see. Then we'll put it into our group and we'll see if we get a majority vote on it, or if there's a lot of people on YouTube who says, if you suggest something, the last time we asked for Bitcoin, people suggest, not a lot of people supported the suggestions. If you get only 5 people liking your suggestion, then we can't add that. But if 500 people like your suggestion that you put, we can add that. You don't even need 500. If 50 people like the suggestion you put, I will add it on. So any suggestion you make in the future and you get 50 likes in it, I'll put that on. Just remind me that, hey, look, I make the suggestions and there's 50 likes in it. We will add that on. Thank you. Have a great week ahead of you. Trade with care. And I would see all my traders in the room later. We'll close the room now and see you there. Take care. Bye-bye. I might put out some more videos this week, by the way. Okay, guys, I'll end the meeting and see you guys in the trading room a bit later. Bye.